Hello, welcome to the Shifty Crab Podcast. We are live. The Brits have taken over. You know, Vince couldn't handle it today, so it is myself and the Pun Master General, Obi-Pun Kenobi himself, Mr. Terry Jeffs. Terry, you're still alive.
Still alive.
How are you feeling?
I'm not 100%, but I'm like a good 85%. You know, I'm on the way back up.
You're there. You're hanging on.
Yeah, I'm hanging on. I don't think I'm going to be going back down again. Yeah, but I'm feeling a lot better than I was last week, which was pretty much at death's door. So yeah,
fair enough. But do you know what? You soldiered on and you came on the show last week as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. And I know you've got a lot of things that you want to talk about.
Yeah, because I didn't have much to say last week because I could barely talk anyway. I was just like non-stop coughing, which I've still got a bit of a cough. Not COVID, just say. So you're not going to catch anything, don't worry.
That's good. I was worried. I was trying to keep the distance. I even put our screens a little bit further apart, just to
2 meter distance.
2 meter distance. Yeah.
So there, obviously there was a bunch of stuff that I'd been watching because I hadn't been playing much at all. So yeah, got a good amount of stuff to talk about.
That's good. Yeah, I've got a few follow-ups and something that's probably, I said it before we came on, is going to blow your mind.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this,
which I'll save till a little bit later. Okay. But yeah, before we get into that, obviously I can't imagine you're drinking alcohol with your cough.
Not doing myself any favors, but I'm drinking kind of Coke Zero, so
can't be a bit of Coke Zero.
Probably just making me even worse.
Tropicana orange juice. So we are living it up.
A bit of Tropicana.
We are living it up. But yeah, do you know what? I was looking at my bank balance more than anything, and this month of gaming is ridiculous. And I was sat here going, okay, we're over the worst of it now. I say worst of it, the best of it, but then we've got GT just around the corner.
It's just relentless. It just
keeps on.
But
going.
To be honest, I got out of that. I've spoken about it before. Yeah. I got out of that habit a long time ago where I just don't get. Whereas before, I used to get that anxiety of oh my god, there's so much stuff. I don't even try to attempt it now. I'm just like, do you know what? It's all gonna be there when I'm ready for it. I'm looking forward to it. Stuff's gonna come out. It'll be buggy as hell, whatever, and get patched. Obviously, some stuff I give in and I cave in and I have to buy.
Yes, I know.
As I have. But yeah, do you know what? I'm just keep adding it to the pile of shame. I'll get round to it when I get round to it. And this year is crazy. The quality we're seeing so far.
Yeah, I think the thing for me with this is, and Gran Turismo is going to be the one that's going to take the hit here. Obviously, it's a busy month. There's a lot to play. I want Gran Turismo, and I was on the fence of it. But when we saw obviously the deep dive, I was like, yep, sign me up. Even though I don't like the menu systems usually in Gran Turismo, it's very stupid sound effects and stuff like that. Those things I just don't like. But the gameplay will be fantastic. But my issue is I don't want spoilers in games. So games like Horizon that I'm playing,
a lot of spoilers in Gran Turismo.
Yeah, I know. Who came first, who came second. I just don't want to know those things. So I'm not as stressed about getting on that one as early as possible. But yeah,
yeah,
I am trying to take your approach a little bit and just be like, do you know what? Just get what I want when I can get it, and just
it's a better life. It's a better life. Honestly, I watch I listen to so many podcasts, and I almost kind of funny and stuff. I almost feel sorry for them in a way.
Yeah,
because you can see because that's their job, and they have to play the latest stuff. And it's just I can see how they're not enjoying it, or how much they just have to rush through everything because thinking, shit, I've got to get through that game because I'll get to the next one. And it's just wow. Back in the day when we grew up gaming in the 90s and stuff, you could play all the best games that currently you could get them all and you could play them all quite comfortably.
Oh yeah.
But now it's a different world. It's just a different. You just can't do it. You just got to pick your battles. You just got to do you know what? I'm just gonna get these things, and the rest of us have to wait because it's not like films where it doesn't matter how many million great films come out in a year. You could easily just get through 1, 2, whatever in a day. Games are completely different. Some of them are just endless pits. So
Especially like games like, obviously, and I know it's something we want to talk about later, and it's a shame Vince isn't here because I'm sure he has a lot to say. Elden Ring, that is not a short game.
Exactly. I mean,
that's going to eat up so much time for people who are playing it, and the same can be said with Horizon. It's the big beefy games that are. But there's the flip side, that is a lot of value for money if the games are good, like, and obviously the price of a game to a film is ridiculous. So I agree. I don't want to rush these games because I'm paying all this money for them. I want to enjoy them.
Yeah, and that's the way they've been designed to play, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So we will talk about, obviously, a lot of things that a lot of things that we've been playing, but we can't really talk about anything else. I know you're going on Friday. Man, the reviews for the Batman.
Yeah.
This, like, I was not worried about this film. Like, I didn't really have apprehension. Once we'd seen that initial trailer, I was like, I like this aesthetic. I like the choices that have been made so far. So I've been on board for a while, but hearing that it's detective heavy, like, and stuff, oh my God, it's just
ticking all those boxes for me.
It's saying the right things.
Yeah. Everything I want from a Batman film, this film, it's, I mean, ever since Matt Reeves was attached to it, I was like, oh, hello, like this could be good. And then it was just, you know, they've not shown one thing out of this film, like, since the beginning of development, where I'm like, oh, like getting Giacchino on board, like, you know, one of my favorite composers, and that theme is literally just like one of the best themes I've ever heard. Like, it's just, oh my God, you play that loud and it just builds up and just like, oh, this is iconic. Everything down to when they first revealed the Batsuit, the Batmobile, like every single thing.
The Batmobile is fantastic.
It's just got those, like, you know, you got vibes of some of the best graphic novels, like Year One. Like, I get a lot of vibes of Year One in it, and even like The Long Halloween, and like just anything like just that's got that kind of detective noir feel to it, and I just like everything about it. I mean, getting major like Seven, like David Fincher vibes from it, which we got from the first trailer. And Seven's like one of my favorite films ever. So it's just all the things it's just doing it right. So yeah, I was just hoping, like, if it was going to be anything less than like amazing, obviously I haven't seen the film yet, but I'm like, I would have been like, oh, that's a shame. But the reviews that are coming out, like you're saying, I've not read any of them. That I've just kind of seen the summaries, but they're all pretty much saying like, yeah, it's that film. So it's like, can't wait. Tickets are booked. Friday, IMAX. Let's do this.
Oh, so can't wait to see it. I haven't got tickets yet, but I'm going to give it a week or so, try and get some of the crowds out of the way, and then go. But yeah, there's a risk, isn't there? Because every Batman film that comes out now gets held up against The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
and rightly so, for how good that film was, and this is going to get compared to that a lot because it's a Batman movie, of course. Do you think that? Do you think in some ways that sets it up to not fail, because this film won't fail, but will have a negative impact on the experience on the film, because some people have come out saying this is the best thing since The Dark Knight? Like, people are putting it in that category, and how revered that film is. Or do you think it's not going to taint anyone's experience?
I don't think so, because I think the Joker. I think Joker did really well in that, and that was getting a lot of the same comparisons when that came out, saying like this is the best DC, which I think it is. I mean, it's the best DC film since The Dark Knight. I think it's a fantastic film, The Joker. But it's something that's very kind of different and setting its own path, and it's a separate thing. And I think this is really exciting because this is like the first of what's going to be a potential trilogy, and it's I mean, I think the fact that it's being compared to it is a good thing. I think that it definitely has the potential to be a better Batman film than The Dark Knight. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be a better film.
The Dark Knight was the villain, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, the point is that The Dark Knight stands alone as just a great film, regardless that it's a Batman film. You know, like, it's just a great film. Yeah. Whereas you don't really think of it as like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like if I think of the Dark Knight, I don't think of it as like the best kind of like Batman story, so to speak. Like I've always said before, like Batman Begins is actually
a fantastic story,
a better Batman film, if you know what I mean. You actually see his origin story. You see him actually doing like working in the shadows, and that in the Dark Knight, it's not really about that as much. It's more, like you say, it's more about the Joker. But
I'd say Rise is also, from a Batman perspective, is much more interesting than Batman in the Dark Knight. Because old man Batman.
Yeah, but this film, like, I've never seen something so reflective of its like source material. Like from what I've seen in the trailers, like it looks like a graphic novel. It feels like that Gotham that I've been reading in comics for so many years. It's like it's got that feeling of like this place that you kind of know, and it's got that grimy and like it's just I don't know what it is. They're just kind of hitting all the right notes on it, and that's just what makes me excited. So yeah, I think it has. Yeah, it's the fact that, like you say, it's even being measured up against that says it all, really. Because you talk about Chris Nolan, like it's just. But Matt Reeves is one of the best directors in the business. So and apparently from what I'm seeing, like everyone's saying this is his best film.
Yeah,
and that's saying something considering the Apes trilogy. Like so, it's. I'm excited.
And I think you touched on something there. And I think one of the biggest characters in a Batman movie that sometimes gets overlooked, or has done it maybe in recent years, is Gotham City. Is a character within itself, and I don't think we've seen a good iteration of Gotham City on screen since probably all the way back to Tim Burton.
Tim Burton's still my favorite Gotham, because it was something very like, it was like straight up the comic book pages, but it was like otherworldly, like kind of gothic, and like it was very Tim Burton. You know what I mean? Like, it was like the comics Gotham mixed with Tim Burton's gothicness, and it was its own thing, and it was just so different and so stylistic. And like that was probably like the weakest part of the Nolan trilogy. Yeah, because it just looked like a mix of
New York, basically,
and like a modern
Chicago,
day. Like it was just didn't have that much character. Like whereas this, like I say, it's definitely got that.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's. Oh man, like I can't wait for it. Like, can't wait to hear your thoughts on it next week as well.
I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's going to be fantastic. Before we talk about what we've been playing, because I'm guessing that's going to take a little bit of time. I know you've been watching quite a few things as well. What have you been watching?
So, still powering through with the MCU.
Where are we up to?
So we watched Endgame on Sunday, and so obviously, we're watching it through with the kids, and they've never seen them before. And I particularly set this up. They were on half term last year, and I particularly set it up that I wanted them to watch Infinity War. Like I think it was the weekend before, like at the beginning of half term. And I wanted to make sure that they saw Endgame before they went back to school, because I didn't want the spoilers from them talking to. And obviously, like I said to you before, when we actually first started the MCU, they had like friends saying, "Oh, like so and so died." And so I was like, but I didn't want them to be like watched, which is really a depressing ending in Infinity War, especially watching it with two young kids. I didn't want them to watch that and then like go back into school, and I wanted that gap to linger a little bit. Like, obviously we watched.
Well, we had a couple of years to wait.
Exactly. Yeah. But we watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Captain Marvel, and then we watched Endgame, and so that's where we're up to right now. And wow, that's an emotionally exhausting film.
Yeah.
I was bawling my eyes out again. I'm not even gonna lie. I can't do it. Every single time it gets to that moment, I'm like,
there's so many moments in that film.
It's too much. It's so good. Yeah. It's so good. And Infinity War as well. I mean, but I can't even remember when I was last on where I was at in terms of the films. But obviously we've been powering through them, and just really enjoying it. And I think we're gonna do Far From Home probably this weekend, and so I'm looking forward to getting on with Phase 4. Although this is where it starts getting muddy, and I was going to ask your opinion on this, because because obviously up until this point, we just got the films, right? And now it gets into phase 4. You've got the TV series in there, and it's like, I don't know if they're like necessary, like for them to watch, like, especially stuff like, I don't know, like WandaVision, and I mean, I absolutely adore them, but I think, are they going to really get that much out of them? They're more kind of dramas, they're character based. They're not like, and obviously it's a lot.
It all depends on, is your watch along going to keep continuing as the new movies come out, or are you going to take a break, let them build up again, and then watch them? Because if you're going in, obviously, the Multiverse of Madness, Wanda is such a huge character in that, and that she becomes that mainly because of what we see in obviously WandaVision. So that's probably going to be a really good part of the pretext for that. But I don't think you'd need to see Falcon and the Winter Soldier so much.
No, but although I do want them to see that Falcon, like, and again, it makes me, like, I'm sure they will address this in the film, because they are very clever, in Marvel Studios.
It's like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, the way that they do their, like, that, I'm sure that they will. Have they announced the Captain America film?
No, not yet.
No, but let's say whenever we see the next film, and spoilers, when we see the new Captain America, I'm sure they're gonna show that in a way that explains it to the people that haven't watched that series, because they've got to assume that everyone going to the cinema to see these films have not necessarily watched these series. Don't you think?
Yeah, you're probably right, but it's going to be interesting, and I'm guessing Multiverse of Madness will be the first time we'll tell, because none of the films so far you've needed to watch any of the TV programs, because there's not been a tie-in.
But really. I'm sure that they will acknowledge, like, the stuff that happened in WandaVision and kind of fill you in. You know,
that's what I'm saying. That, like, we'll find out in a couple of months, but I feel like they'd have to. Like, sometimes Marvel films are quite heavy on the foreshadowing and the storytelling at the beginning anyway, and the recapping. So
what I think I might do is, like, move forward do the films, and then once we've watched, we're up to date with the films, then maybe go, okay, we can kind of,
when there's a gap in the movies,
chip away at the series just to fit them in and see if they.
Because you haven't seen Loki yet, have you?
I haven't seen Loki. No. Yeah, that's the only series. Yeah,
which I think you'd really enjoy. So.
Yeah, I think I will. I think we'll really enjoy that, actually. I've still not seen Shang-Chi or the Eternals. So
you're gonna watch that for the first time with them.
Yeah, so it's gonna be great. Yeah, so we've actually caught up, which so that's cool. Yeah,
and then just in time.
But no, really, really, really enjoying it. And also, I've also been watching Pam and Tommy.
Oh yeah,
which is still great. Well, I think we're about 6 episodes in. So
how many are there? Do you know how many there's going to be?
It's not finished yet. I think it might be about 8, maybe.
Okay. Has the tape been released? Are we
God, yeah. That's like, that happens. I think it's like at the end of episode 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Might have been, because when it launched with the first
2.
I can't remember, it was the first 2 or was it 2?
I think it would be 2. That's what Disney usually do in it. So.
Yeah, and that's how it kind of ended, I believe. Like, that's when it actually went out there. But it's really interesting because it's like, I mean, I love it just watching it for the whole 90s aspect of it, because it's done really well. But it's really interesting to see how you didn't even think about all this stuff happening, you know, like where, like, the court cases and like the first time something like this had really kind of happened, and how, like, the lawyers, obviously on the opposition, were like, really, like, when you think about it, they'd done like nothing wrong. They were broken into. Mm-hmm. They had like a video stolen, and then they were like trying to, like, obviously, like, pin it on them, like, and particularly like Pamela Anderson saying like, oh, you know, why were you doing this in public and stuff like that? And it's just like, what the fuck? But it's crazy. It's really good. But my God, I cannot, like, you just kind of forget when you're watching it that it's like Lily James and Sebastian Stan, because they just literally disappear into those characters. They're so good. So good.
Yeah, I want to watch it when it's all out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. And what else have we watched? Can't think. I know I've been watching some other stuff because I say up until this week I hadn't been playing anything, so I've just been watching. Oh, Drive to Survive. So I am absolutely hooked on Drive to Survive
it's
right
so
now.
good. The new season's on in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it's been perfect because it has literally filled in this gap for me of when I kind of stopped watching F1.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching it through, and yeah, a lot of these like stories I didn't even know about what was going on, and obviously a lot of it you wouldn't know to this depth anyway because it's all behind the scenes. But it's so good and it's so cleverly put together. Yeah. Each episode that it focuses on one story. Yeah. Between like a pair of the drivers or a team, and I love it. Yeah, I love it. So like literally, I started it this week and I'm already on season 3. So I'm on like season 3, episode 2. I think I'm on. So yeah, I want to get through it and ready for
the new
season 4, which is
season 4 is going to be ridiculous.
Oh my god, I can't. I can't wait. I can't wait.
But
yeah, it's
really
so good.
To Survive. Like
it's really good, really good.
It's so really well put together as well.
It really is. Yeah, I didn't expect it to be so. I think when I watched it when it first came on, like for the first series came out, I watched like the first 1 or 2 episodes, and I guess because it's like the way it's set up, it kind of introduces you to the sport. Mm-hmm. I thought that's just what it was going to be like. I thought it was going to be quite broad, and I was like, oh, okay. And I just never really kind of, but yeah, obviously it soon gets real into the nitty gritty, and I love all that. I love all the politics and stuff behind F1, and there's some real characters in it, and it's got me just fully back into the sport again. I'm just like, I can't wait.
Oh yeah, I'll binge season 4. Like that'll be one of them. Oh yeah, I'll watch it all in like usually it's like 1 or 2 sittings. I just absolutely love it. Like
that's
I
how
can't
it's
wait.
been for me.
Okay, anything else you've been watching?
Not that I can think of. No, I think that's about it. What about
you? The only thing I have really watched is Peaky Blinders. Like I know you're not. You're not a Peaky Blinders fan, or you are?
No, I am.
Okay,
I am, but I haven't started. Is it out now?
Yeah, it came out on Sunday. The first
episode.
Yeah, first episode.
So I haven't started it yet.
Yeah. And obviously, so I won't say anything about the episode. Or what I will say is, man, they know how to make a TV program.
Was he good? Yeah.
Oh, it's just so good. What I would say, and the BBC put a really good one on their YouTube. If you just search Peaky Blinders recap.
Yeah, I have to do that every year.
There's a 15-minute one done by the BBC, and absolutely watch that because one itself is quite entertaining itself. But then obviously I was curious how they do it with obviously Helen McElroy, obviously with her passing and stuff like that, and really well done.
I was intrigued to see how they were going to navigate.
And they dedicated the whole episode to her at the end as well. Like, and they didn't have any. Obviously, the Peaky Blinders music that you always hear at the end wasn't there. It was just her name, and then they did the credits in silence. That was really nice. But they also, obviously, because they had to explain why she wasn't in the show.
Yeah.
So which you get to straight away, which is really good. But it's so well done, and there's they do something quite early on in the episode that is one of those. Wait, what? Like, and it's just so well done. The cast is fantastic, and what's even more exciting about this season, obviously with it being the last season, but one of the actors who we know is coming into the show is Stephen Graham.
Yes. Oh my god.
And I don't know who he's going to be playing. I have a feeling on who it might be, but my god,
like how can you possibly elevate this cast?
And you forget who's in it because I didn't know that, and I never remember her name. Is it like Anna Taylor-Joy who was in Queen's Gambit?
Yes.
Or whatever her name is. I didn't watch Queen's Gambit, so she was already in it, and I forgot that. So she's in it, and you've got.
Yeah, they've had like when you think about like Sam Neill, like who was fantastic in it, like such a different character to any of you I've seen him in before.
Oh yeah, he was fantastic. Who was the
Tom Hardy was just
Tom Hardy, who's been fantastic
incredible in it.
Yeah, as Alfie Solomon. Who played the mafia guy?
What, from the pianist?
Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody, who was great in that series.
They've had some incredible cast.
It's been so good throughout. I'm looking forward to watching. We've still yet to watch the latest series of Ozark. So
you're gonna do that first.
Definitely, I want that's next on the list. I want to binge through that, and then it'll be Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, so Sundays are now Peaky Blinders. And then, the only other thing I watched is Liverpool lifting the League Cup on Sunday. A little bit of sports talk. Man, that penalty shootout was ridiculous.
Yeah. I didn't even watch it, but I see.
Yeah.
Obviously, the celebrations.
When the goalkeepers had to take the penalties.
Yeah, it's always the worst.
Oh, it's the worst. So, but we won the League Cup, so that was nice. But yeah, that's really been about all I've been watching. Like, I'll talk about what I've been playing first, because I know there's one thing that you want to deep dive into. I'm guessing your experiences so far. I have obviously been playing Horizon, and that game just keeps getting better and better. And I'm at a pivotal point in the game, and it's not story point. It's that point which you'll know very well from Horizon, where they kind of take you through the first bit, and your level kind of stays equal with the story missions. I'm now at that point where I'm going to have to go and do a big chunk of side quests to be able to progress the story. So, and this was the point where I was like, okay, is this where I'm going to drop off because I don't want to go do those things? But no, I'm quite happy to go off, and that's where this game, I think.
Have you just been kind of just powering through with the story then and not doing other stuff?
No, I was doing some bits as they came up, but because the story's been so good, and like the story has a bit of a time element to it, like there's an urgency to it, like, so I kind of was moving forward, but you get to a very clear point, and it's just like, okay, now I've got some big objectives ahead of me. And when you go to your thing, and there's like 3 of them at this point, and like I'm like level 13, and one's level 17, one's like level 28, and one's like level 32 or something like that. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back and start to really like delve into some of the side quests. But it's so well voice acted and so well designed that like I'm having a lot of fun doing those side quests. So I think right now I'm not even going to touch the main story until I've done all, like, obviously no spoilers here, you're heading west. So
really? Is it forbidden?
It's forbidden as well.
Okay.
But I'm going to go back east, and where you start the game. Obviously areas that like Meridian and stuff like that. And I'm going to do side quests.
Oh, so you go back to those places?
No, only at the very beginning. That's kind of where you start just by there, and then you do introductions there, and then you move forward from there. So so there's a whole area, a few areas that you'll have never seen before, which I'm not going to speak about. And I'm just going to crack on with those side quests and do that. And it's just been a lot of fun. And some of the new machines that I've met so far, man, the design on them is so good.
Yeah, they do look amazing, especially the snake one.
Yeah,
like so good.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. And it's really interesting how they've introduced these new machines. You don't just randomly see them. There's a reason why they've appeared. It's not just because you're heading west into a new area. So it's really, really fun. Like, Aloy is great. Like, and I just really like the game. Like, and I think it is so much better than the first one.
Yeah, like, it does seem just kind of leaps and bounds above it, really.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's so much better than the first one, and it's not a overwhelming experience, which I thought the first one kind of threw a lot at you, and there is elements of that when you go into a town or a settlement or whatever, and then everything starts just popping off in the settlement a little bit, and you can see 10 exclamation marks, and you're like, oh, where the fuck do I start with this? But it's all kind of logical, like, and and the leveling up is very similar to how it was in the first one. The skill trees and stuff like that, so you'll know what you're doing with them quite quickly. But yeah, really having fun with that, and I will played a bit more Cyberpunk, trying to do some side bits. That game's no, getting a lot more bugs now. So that on my review scale, I'd say that it's just wait till it's free. Until it goes on Games Pass or something, or because I wouldn't throw money at it on a console.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's not worth it.
What a shame.
Yeah, Sifu still kicking my ass. Haven't really touched it this week, but I plan to at the weekend. But
you can do it. I believe in you.
And now it's over to you, because I think you've been playing a small game.
I've been playing a tiny little game. Yeah. So as you know, I was going to be going back to our conversation at the beginning of the podcast. I was going to be getting Gran Turismo 7, and I was just so set on that. I mean,
so you pre-ordered it, right? That's what you've done.
I was just tunnel vision thinking about that game. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Couldn't wait to play it. And then, goddamn, those Elden Ring reviews came out, and then Vince twisted my arm literally on the podcast last week. So I gave in, and I did sin, and I no longer am purchasing Gran Turismo. I had to make the choice. I had to get one. I've only got time to spend on one of these games, and I couldn't help it. I caved, and I got Elden Ring. And first of all, like, disclaimer, I like to say, like, I've only played a small amount of this game, so I want to say, like, I've probably played about, I want to say maybe somewhere between like 6 to 8 hours, maybe, of this game. So everything I will say, obviously, you should be taken with a pinch of salt, because I probably have seen 0.1% of this game. But I am in love with this game.
Yeah.
I am. It's one of those things. It's like, if I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about it. I want to play it right now. I'm thinking about it. I want to play it right now. There's something about this world that just keeps calling me back. It's just like I want to. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. So I think it's like similar to like what you were saying, like with the open world, but it is almost like the opposite, in that it's not overwhelming at all. It is in the sense of its scope, but it's like, because there's nothing at all. I mean, there is slightly telling me what to do, and it's quite similar, like we said before, to an Elder Scrolls game, and it actually opens up similar to an Elder Scrolls game in that obviously you create a character, and you get a brief cinematic intro. I know very little about the game or the story, because it just doesn't. It just the way it opens up. It's just like this world where everything's gone to shit. Typical kind of Souls game. Everyone that is in this world is kind of half dead or whatever, tortured or whatever, and you are what you're known as the Tarnished, which was someone that these people that used to live on these lands, and they were blessed by this light, or whatever you want to call it, but the light's gone, and the Tarnished have been banished, and blah blah blah, and you're trying to come back like every other Tarnished and reclaim these lands from these evil beings, which have like taken they shattered the Elden Ring into particles, and they've all got these parts, and blah 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 blah. I think at the end of the day, you're trying to seek out like 5 or 6 of these main bosses to defeat them, and you create a character, and you start similar to like Oblivion. You're like underground, it's basically a tutorial teaching you the buttons, kind of work your way through. By the end, you figured out all the buttons. You emerge up into the lands, and then you just see all the lands around it, and then it's just like, go do what you want. But there is a slight, there is actually more of a path than even like an Elder Scrolls at the beginning, because it's like it does this thing where it kind of creates this
Mm.
golden like kind of light that sends you like to like it shows you like a pathway to go.
Okay.
And so it's basically it's quite good to show like, okay, if you want to progress, and I haven't played Breath of the Wild, but I know Breath of the Wild apparently is quite similar in that there's like, okay, I don't know, maybe it doesn't show a path, but I think you can get to kind of the castle, and if you want to, you can just kind of try to head to that, and if you're powerful enough to get through it, you can do it. And it's similar to this in Elden Ring. It's like, here's your path. If you really want to just kind of focus and just kind of get through this game, go that way, kind of thing. And I did do that a little bit to begin with, until I literally got to like the gates of this, where I'm supposed to be heading up to a castle, and this like giant thing, like ogre, just come out, just like, and I just ran a mile. I was like, nope, not ready for you yet. And obviously in this game there's no levels, there's no like, it's just they are what they are. Like you could stumble into something that just completely wipes the floor of you, and nothing's telling you that thing is stronger. It's just like, you just know, it's like, okay, I'm like that thing just hit me and it took out my health bar in one hit. I'm not ready for this area yet. So I've just been exploring, and what's really cool about this game is that the entire map, when you start to play, is completely empty. You can't see anything on your map. You can't see it. And it's not like Fog of War, where as you start walking around and exploring it, the map becomes available. Nothing becomes available. You can't see anything. You have to find the maps, right? Yeah, so which it sounds crazy, but it's really cool. So I actually had to look this up, because I was like, what's going on? Like, why is my map not coming up? Like, I had an idea, but I just needed to get it confirmed. They're like, oh, you have to find the map pieces, and what you do, you find them at these like plinths. There's like and they're in like each kind of big areas. So I ran and I found the first one, and then it basically unlocked the whole map of this area I'm in, which is huge.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how big this world is, but I can see that this is just a very, very tiny part of it. And let me tell you, the whole time I've been playing this game, I've just been in this one area.
Oh God!
Just this one area. And I've been loving it, because, like I said, I have no urgency to get through this game like fast. I'm just exploring every little piece of this area, and because there's no mini map in this game, and because there's no compass to point to anything, there's not even any icons on the map at all. You do get some, like if you discover like a fortress or like a settlement, like a little camp, that will come up on the map and it will kind of be there. Other than that, there's nothing on there. No keys, no exclamations, no quests, nothing.
Okay.
You can tag the map if you want. So like if you like, which happens all the time, like you discover a little cave somewhere and you get in there and you just discover that there's like a valuable chest in there. You go, oh, okay, I want to remember this for next time, and I'll put a pinpoint on, and then you can choose what icon you want. So you know, because obviously in this game you're dying a lot or if you reset at a so that you have your bonfire equivalents, which are called points of, not points of faith. I always got to say faith. Points of shit. I can't remember the name. But anyway, you discover these everywhere, and again, you don't know where they're going to be. You'll just come across them and discover them, and then you can either choose to rest at those sites of shit. What are they called?
I'll search for it.
Yeah. Or points of something. Anyway. Points of grace. Points of grace. Yeah.
Sites of grace.
That's it. So if you find one of these points of grace or signs of grace, you can level up there if you've got enough runes, which are basically like the souls. And you can rest, and by resting, obviously everything gets replenished. Replenish all your flasks, which are your health flasks, but then all of the enemies reset again. So you just doing this like constant like loop. Bit obviously similar to like what you've been playing with Deathloop. It's like, okay, like, and because you're just doing these things over and over again.
Is a bit easier.
Yeah. Because you're doing these things over and over again, you just start to learn. You go, oh yeah, I know that these ones are going to be over here. There's going to be some enemies over here. I've got to be careful of this guy because he's going back and forth. So, and you, without any pathways like being like put on a map for you or looking at a mini map. You're not reliant on anything like that. You're just looking at your surroundings for what they are. And by doing that, I'm like, I can close my eyes and I can kind of see that whole area I've been exploring in my mind. You know, I know the coastline. I know where it goes. I know, like, I've saved up the money and bought a telescope just so I can see over the cliffs in the distance, and I can see what's down there. I can see there's like, it looks like it's a cave entrance. Let's see, can I see some steps down the edge of the cliffs? Yeah, I can get down there. That's where I'm gonna go next. The whole edges of this map, like the beginning area, there's a giant lake, and one of these NPCs basically says like, "Do not." There's a dragon or something that lives in the middle of this lake. Do not go in that lake. Do not go in there. So I'm like, I'm not going in the lake. I'm not going in the lake. I'm learning, like, but I'm going around the lake. I'm pushing like as much as I can just to see what's around it, and I'm discovering things. Some things I'll be able to take down. Some things I'm like, holy shit, I'm running away from because it's just way too powerful. But I'm just kind of figuring out, okay, here's where I can go. Here's where I can and mine some runes. Here's where I should definitely stay clear from. I've learned a few hard lessons in this game for sure. Like there's a bit where, again, the golden path kind of points to one direction, but I went in the complete opposite direction where there was a bridge leading over to another part of the continent, and I thought, I'm going to check this out. And it was like, I'm heading to the bridge, and it seemed all right. It was quite unmanned. There was a few soldiers there, weakish soldiers. At this point, I've leveled up a bit, and I'm like, yeah, I can take these guys down. Then out of nowhere, I'm just like getting like pummeled with like I don't know what that is, rockets from like someone who's up on the, and I'm just like, I summon my horse because you have you get like this like whistle and it summons your horse Torrent, which you can just at any moment get on it and jump up places and stuff. And I'm just like, I'm just trying to run away as fast as I can. This thing is just like blasting me, and it killed me. But yeah, and then obviously you have to make that journey back to where you were to reclaim your runes if you don't want to lose a bunch which you've got. And there's always that kind of like, oh, like, do I go a little bit further? Like, I'm always got my eye on how many runes I've got and how many I need to level up next, because as soon as I've got that amount, I'm heading back. I want to head back to the nearest point of grace and level up, because one thing you don't want to do in this game is wander around with a lot of runes on you. Either spend them on leveling up or spend them on items, because those are the things you can't lose. I've learned that. I've learned my lesson. Your runes you can't take with you. But the world, I mean, just from the small, tiny area that I've seen, it's just so well put together. And you can look in any direction and you can see something like a point of interest, which looks, you think, oh, I want to go, what's over there? I want to go check that out. Or like, oh, let's go have a look. And obviously you look way into the distance and you can see all different types of terrain, to like forests and just like mountains and like lakes and rivers, and it's just so much. And just from what I've been seeing online, people putting on, I'm like, what? I'm like looking like, where the hell is that? Like, it looks so different to the kind of area I'm in. But yeah, it all kind of seamlessly bleeds into it. It's just, yeah, I mean, like I say, I know I'm at the very, 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 very beginning of this journey, but at the moment, it's all I want to do. But I really am enjoying just the way I'm playing, because I'm only playing, when I'm playing it, I'm getting on there for maybe an hour or two at a time. And that's fine, because I'm just kind of like, I just go, right, oh, okay, today I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to see what's going on over here. I'm going to like explore the area, collect some rooms in that, level up, and I'll leave it there for tonight, you know, and that's the way I'm doing it. But it is fantastic. I mean, it's a Souls game. It's the fighting similar to from what I've played of Demon Souls, and you know, you got to just kind of take your time. I mean, these games, everyone says about how they're hard, and they are hard in the sense of like when you got your boss battles and stuff like that. But I think like in terms of your enemies, like, yeah, they're hard in that any enemy can kill you like in a few swipes. But I think a lot of that is just down to not being impatient. It's not hard. It's not when you die. Like I've not died fighting normal enemies and thought, oh, that was unfair. You know what I mean? It's just always like, no, that was my bad. Like I should have blocked then, and I tried to go in and get the last hit, and I should have just been a little bit more patient. But there are moments which have happened to me already, and I know a lot happens down the line in that, shit just comes out of nowhere, like a trap falls, enemies pop out of nowhere, and they're going to kill you. And again, it's just a learning curve, because you think, oh, fuck, okay, right, it's not going to happen again, because like you just make a note of that. When you go back to that area, that's what's going to happen. It's just whole, and I'm sure it's very similar to like in Sifu and Deathloop particularly. It's just like you die. And sometimes you just have to die. You just think, right, I'm going to go over here. I'm just going to attack this thing just to see what kind of damage I do to it. I know I'm going to die, but let's just see what I can do. And then, like, I know now for the next time, like, what, and you just kind of figure things out as you go. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. I mean, I've not really got anything negative to say about it. Literally, the only thing I would say it would probably be on the technical side. I mean, this game is not. Like, this game could have easily, obviously I'm playing the PS5 version, but this game could be a PS4 game, and I couldn't even tell the difference. It's like, and then even then, a PS4 game, it's like, it's pushing it, but that doesn't bother me in the slightest, because that's just like other than Demon Souls Remake, that's just like what the Souls games kind of are. They're just kind of, when I'm playing these games, I'm not expecting the best animations, the best textures in the world. It just doesn't matter to me. It's just the way that they play. It's just quite unique, and I quite like the clunkiness of the way that they play. Like, but it is a bit crazy after coming off the back of Demon Souls, which is like a technical marvel.
Yeah,
and then playing this, and it's like, again, different kind of game because it's open world.
A step up in some ways, but a step back in the visual.
Yeah, and the frame rate's like very choppy and stuff like that. I think it's like normally like it's around like 30 frames per second or something. But again, it's just not. It's not something that bothers me. I'm just like, yeah, well, it is what it is. But no, I'm loving it, and I'm just loving like what's possibly ahead in this journey. Just absolutely brilliant.
Okay, so one question, obviously, is what class did you choose?
I went with the I can't remember the name of it, Valorant or something like that. It's basically the Knight version. Yeah. So, heavy armor. Although one thing I did learn is like it tells you if your weight of your character is like light, medium, or heavy. And someone said to make sure to always make sure your weight is at medium, because if it's on heavy, you can't roll. You can't do like a proper roll. Mm-hmm. So when you start this class, you try to roll and you basically just fall on the floor. It's just like so shit. So the first thing I did, a tip I read, is like remove your helmet. So unequip your helmet, and then it just brings the weight down enough so that you can do a proper roll. Because evading is very important in this game. Like obviously blocking like with a shield will do so much, but you should be evading as well. But yeah, so I've got sword, shield and sword, and yeah. So I at the minute I'm literally just putting my leveling up into mainly my strength at the moment, and a bit in my like kind of vitality to bring the HP up. But the main thing at the minute is just my strength, because vitality is quite good anyway. Oh, yeah. But the strength, I just want to bring it up so I can just take some people down. But yeah.
So is the leveling capped? Is there a top level you can get to in this, or can you just keep building and building? I
don't know. Not that I know of. What happens is that every single time you level up, to level up again, it costs a lot more runes. So I can imagine that. I don't know if there is a cap, but I imagine that it gets to a point where
there's not enough money. There's not enough runes in the game.
Yeah, you probably have to do so much just to level up again. But then I don't know. Like maybe you get to an area where, because obviously depending on what enemies you're fighting, they drop in different amounts of runes that people could start farming areas where they're like killing something which drops a shitload of runes. I don't know how it works really, but
could you, like, obviously you've played, like, well, I guess you haven't. You're not the person who's done it. Is there a point where the bosses, I know they'll always be difficult, where the bosses become what you'd say maybe
easy.
just not. I don't think they'll ever be easy, but more like, oh yeah, this is okay. I can.
Oh yeah,
I can take this quite easily. Just
yeah, definitely. Like so. Yeah, like one of the early bosses. I'm sure, like if you came like back to that, when you're at the end of the game, you probably could even one hit kill him. I'm not sure. It depends on the boss. Like it depends on like what they can do. Like because some of them can probably do some pretty dangerous attacks regardless of what level you are. But there's some stuff that just really. One of the things I love about the Souls games, and particularly in this game, is the messages that people leave. So you got the bloodstains. So like you'll see bloodstains everywhere, and every now and then you'll just see like ghosts of like other players from like their play, and you just kind of see them wandering around. But you click on the bloodstain, and you will see how a particular player died. But the messages, so you can leave messages anywhere, and there's just messages everywhere, and I always read them because some of them are just like. They'll just put maybe like you'll be on a cliff edge and someone just go like saying like, oh, admire the beautiful view or whatever, right? Yeah. Some of them will just be like, it'll be a shit post. But you'd never know though, because it'll be like, there was an area and it was like, I was inside a cave and there's a big hole and a drop down. And there was a message saying like, jump, like be brave and jump. And then you'll get these a lot of the time it would be just someone just literally just winding you up, and then obviously you're gonna die. But I thought I'm gonna try it because I think I rested like recently, so I thought if I die, I don't got anything on me. Let's give it a go, and it worked. I dropped down and I didn't die, and it like led to somewhere quite cool. And I was like, okay, so you just never know. You just like but they're not a lot of them are really helpful. Like I was going through these ruins yesterday, and it was like beware of flower, beware of the flower. I'm thinking, what was that? And then I kind of peeked around the corner, and there's like this big pink flower there, and I wasn't sure what it was, and all of a sudden, this thing I got near to it, and then this thing just started shooting out poison gas everywhere.
Oh.
And I just like backing off, and like shit, and then I killed it and got some stuff. But it's like you just don't know. But these messages are always like really helpful to kind of let you know that something's around the corner, or it would say like careful, like tough foe ahead, and you're like, oh shit, okay, so you're just wondering like where could this be, like and I haven't left any messages myself, but I wonder how, like, what the format is, or what the limit, because they're always similar kind of wording.
Yeah,
it would say something like "tough foe ahead" or something. So maybe I don't know if you get to choose from certain things or what. I don't know, but they're great. Those things are great because they do play with your trust issues and that you never know if someone's going to be messing with you or not.
I've seen a lot of things on Twitter of like, this is a fake wall. Yeah, and stuff like that. Did you see
the finger in butthole one or whatever it was?
Finger in butthole. Yeah.
I see that one in the game. I was like, what the hell? I don't know. That's the one that's really blew up.
Okay, so you're enjoying the game?
Absolutely loving it. I'm just waiting. I can't wait to see what's more to come. I'll be interested to see what experience. I imagine Vince has done way more than me. Yeah. But like I say, I'm just enjoying like, I just want to like really know every piece of this map off by heart. And at the moment, I'm just like loving where I'm at right now. I'm kind of pretty much ready to kind of move on to the next area. And it's great. I can't wait. But I think this is going to take me a long time to get through, and that's the way I want to do it. I would not want to rush through this game at all.
Do you think you'll leave it and go back to it, or do you think you're going to have to stick with this? And
I don't think I can unless I'd actually hit a brick wall, and I don't know what I'm going to be like with the bosses, because I know some of them can get
tedious,
really hard, and that's the difference, because it's one thing taking down some of the tough enemies, but when you got a boss, sometimes you just unless you actually look up a guide, and I've not been looking up anything online because I quite like the idea of like playing this through and just like
exploring.
I like I like exploring and just kind of trial of error and just kind of figuring out where stuff is and I don't really want to know too much unless I actually hit a brick wall and not with a boss or something like that. But I know a lot of the bosses are very kind of. A lot of them are obtuse and like you just don't know how to even deal with damage to it unless you do a certain thing. So we'll see. But I hope that's not the case. I mean, I can't And I have been looking on Twitter and I see people, saying a lot of things. I'm just like, yeah, like I could totally get it. Like how they're just like absolutely just adoring this game and saying the same thing. They can't stop thinking about it. There is something about these. I had it with Demon Souls when I was playing the original Demon Souls. Like there's something about them. Like when you're not playing them and you just constantly just thinking about them. You just think, and I think maybe it's just something down to the game design, just in the way that the maps lead out. Like even in this one, like when you start it in the cave area, it's very similar to like typical Dark Souls fashion, where you're starting in one area, and I'm working my way through in this cave, and then all of a sudden I'm at the top of the bridge. And I'm like, oh, I look down, I'm like, that's where I started, and and apparently there's like labyrinthian dungeons in this world. Like you go down and they're just like it's just so much, and just the way that they're designed and the fact that you there is no quests, like there is no mini map, there is no like, and I've played a lot of those games where I just constantly feel like I'm just like running from one thing to the next, just trying to get rid of it and clear it off. And that isn't like that in this. It's just very much this world, and it's just like explore it. And although I haven't played Breath of the Wild, that's the thing that's really appealed to me from what I've seen of that. I just love that. I think I mentioned to you before about GTA. Like I want to start when I play GTA, I want to start turning off the
map and the
mini map and the because you do become slave to that sometimes. You just like you're not even looking at where you're driving, you're just like following that line,
Yeah.
And it's like and which is a shame because like so much like effort goes into those worlds. Sometimes you're just not looking at it. You just whereas this, I'm just kind of taking everything in. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. So I'm looking forward to it. I reckon it's going to be a constant kind of thing, just kind of dip into each each podcast, like, oh, here's the update, latest, and that's the coolest thing about it as well, just hearing people's, particularly something that's just come out, is literally just this untapped mind, like people just come up with stories, and it's great.
Urban legends.
There
is actually, before we move on from games, I forgot to mention earlier, there is one other game that I've been playing, which is Elden Ring. So
no way
I am playing Elden Ring.
No way! You kept that one bloody quiet.
Well, yeah, I downloaded it and started playing it. So I am nowhere near as far as you. I am overwhelmed. Bear in mind, I've never played a Souls game.
Yeah.
Ever. This is my first time.
At all? Not even a little bit?
Never even owned one, touched one, like even seen the loading screen on one. I don't even watch content about them. But I knew that once I knew that you had got it and Vince had it, I thought, well, if I have it, then we're going to see three very different perspectives on this game.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it a college try, but I have only just really been opened up to the world. Yeah. So I did all the tutorial bits. Hate the controls. It's going to take me a while to get used to those controls, and I think the main reason I hate those controls is because I'm playing Horizon at the same time.
Right, yeah.
So very different control scheme, and I'm using to do my bow should be L2, like it just should be and that cost me a few deaths. But I came out and spoke to somebody, didn't understand what a maiden was and what they're talking about, and then stepped off a thing, saw something in the distance. I thought, I'll go see what that is. It rampaged at me and sprinted. This massive guy on I think it was an elephant of some sort, killed me, and I went, nope, I'll come back to this later. So I am very early in the game. I looked at the classes because I don't know what any of this means, and one of them said this is good for stealth, and so I went with I think it's the prisoner. Because they're good at stealth and the nimble and stuff like that, and the stealth doesn't seem to be a thing in this game. It seems to be part. So I think I'm going to start again and go with something that's not.
I would definitely advise going with the one I went with, which is like the knight, which is like your kind of standard.
Yeah. Anything
that has good strength and good HP, you kind of need to start to begin with, and the way that this plays is like. It's very similar to any like to Demon Souls or Dark Souls, and I like to play it very slow and methodical. I'm gonna like block, I'm gonna roll, I'm gonna like get a hit in and kind of take my time like that. But some people, like experienced players, they don't need the strength for it because they just know how to So they'll choose like these agility based classes or magic classes, and they'll just be rolling around and like, I would not advise that. Either that or the samurai, which I was close to doing because that's a good mixture of that. And there was another one, I can't remember.
But anyway, so I am playing Elden Ring.
I can't believe you.
You know what?
Sat there all that time and kept that in.
Yeah, I wanted to hear your verdict. I want to try and get some hints. One thing I do not like is all of the messages on the floor.
You don't like it?
Because I think it takes it out of the game a little bit. And because I'm like you, I'm like, I have to read what this says.
Yeah.
So a 10-second walk through a bit of a room takes me 20 minutes because I'm clicking on all these. And the blood stains, I'm like, why do I have to keep touching blood stains?
No, you don't have to, but it's handy because you look and you get an idea of what's killed them. Either they've fell off something or something's come out. And I think, again, with the messages can lead you to some really good places.
Yeah.
Because I say, there's so many secret areas in this and so many just things you wouldn't even think to do. And sometimes they can just give you a little hint.
Yeah, no, and I like there has been things, especially at the beginning, like when obviously you can drop down, and so one of the things said, look down, and I went down and did it, and then you come over the bridge, this is where I started. Okay, this is I didn't realize I was going to end up back here. I forgot about that bit. It is. A difficulty that I'm having is, well, there's a few difficulties, but the main difficulty is because I'm playing Horizon at the same time.
It must be hard to go between.
It's hard because of the fluidity of Horizon and the speed of Horizon, but also how beautiful that game is.
Yeah.
Is jarring to Elden Ring. And I know Elden Ring's not designed to be the most beautiful game, but when there is still that moment when you come up the elevator and you see the space and you go, okay.
I mean, the art direction,
really cool.
Very much two different things. Like the art direction in this game is phenomenal. Like
a lot grayer and a lot
design and it's But I can imagine it's very jarring.
It is, and I'm not putting anything on Elden Ring there. That's just look at the draw. And I'm sure it's like that for quite a few people because these games came out so similar times. It hasn't hooked me yet in the same way, but because I'm still very much getting to grips with the controls, and I don't, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the layouts. I don't know if you can even button map in Elden Ring or in a Souls game. So I have to look into those things. So obviously I've only really done the tutorial bits, and then came out, and so I haven't really got an opinion on the actual game. What I will say is it's something that I am looking forward to exploring. And I do want to see the game through to the end. Like I don't really give up on games, but man, it's going
to be a time sink.
It's a time sink.
I would say it's just definitely. I mean, these games you cannot rush. You cannot rush it through. You got to just slowly take your time, explore the areas. Just find enemies that you can comfortably take care of and keep killing them, and going back and leveling up, and you'll find yourself slowly getting stronger, and then you start to one enemy that was a little bit above your pay grade kind of thing. You think, I can take this guy on, and it just slowly just unravels like that. But with you said you went to like the first little settlement. Like there's a guy there you can buy from, right?
No, I didn't get that far.
Did you not go there? Oh, okay.
I came out of the doors. And I spoke to the person who talks to you about maidens.
Right. Okay.
And I have who explains the gold path basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I spoke to that person.
Oh yeah.
The very first person you see stepped off the side of him and got absolutely railed by by this elephant thing. I was like, nope.
I think from that point, you are given it shows you the whatever it's called, the path of grace. If you
haven't got that yet.
If you just follow that, if you literally just take like a short walk north, you'll come to a little settlement. There's like a vendor. There's a guy there that can sell stuff, and you can repair and you can rest there. But very good idea to use him as like your go-to like base, because you can sell to him, you can buy off him, and he sells some good items. Like a telescope you can get from and also this is how crazy and how obtuse these games are, right?
Yeah.
So you can craft in this game, but you would never know that unless you buy this one item from him there. Yeah. So you have to buy a crafting thing from him, which is like about 500 runes, and that's the only way you can craft once you buy that, and then you can do it. So there's people that may never even discover that, and they would never craft an item in this game. But yeah, you can craft all kind of things like fire bombs and and stuff like that. So.
And that's one of the things, and I am used, and obviously I'm playing Horizon and Cyberpunk, two games that very much hold your hand in some aspects. Yeah. And the thing that I struggled the most with this game is because I'm not far enough into the game to know what's going on, and I have like the runes, for example. I thought that was just cash to spend on things. I didn't know I had to use them to level up. Yeah, and then when you have to choose, what is it, your keepsake or something at the beginning? Yeah. I'm like, well, what the fuck does half of this stuff mean? I just chose the one that gave me more runes. Like, I was just, I don't know what all that stuff is, so I'm just clicking on these buttons, go through the tutorial, and go, oh, okay, why is my shield the size of a fucking pea? Like, and then.
Well, I was there was a video, I could link it to you because before I chose my character. There was a YouTube video that someone made, and it was like a guide to each of the classes and what to go.
Yeah, I think it was IGN did a breakdown of them. So
and it was in that it said what item, like what the items were, and what one's a good one. And I can't remember what I went for, but I just went whatever they said. It was like, oh, this was a good one. So that's.
I feel like we're coming in at 3 different stages here. I've skipped everything coming for one of the most overwhelming, probably not the hardest of games, but the most overwhelming to come in on and just go, what the fuck am I doing? And then and especially when you I don't know if you saw the model design for the prisoner, the shield is like me walking around with this on my arm. And these things are swinging massive fucking swords at me, and then I've got a little scimitar in the other hand. I'm just like, well, this is great. And
it's funny actually because I've heard a lot of things talking about the difficulty, and I think in terms of to get into to begin with, I think that this must be the easiest one to start because the other Souls games are very, very linear. Yeah, and it's like Demon Souls. It's like you start off in a level, you got the first level, and it's just everything's kind of funneled down a tunnel. And if you're kind of stuck, you've not really got anywhere else to go. At least in this game, you can jump on your horse and you can just wander about. You can just come and find somewhere. You could find an area that you're quite comfortable with, and it's quite good in that way. But I from what I've heard, when you get to the other end of the game, it gets actually a lot harder than any other Souls game. So it's more of a easier to learn, harder to master than the rest.
Yeah, I think my biggest enemy in this is going to be myself, in the sense of I have to unlearn gaming tropes, which are the games I play, those open world adventure games. I'm used to them, and Skyrim being one of my favorite games of all times as well. And this ain't fucking Skyrim. Whatever it starts out with some common themes, swiftly goes away when I've got a 26-inch sword up my arse.
Forget everything you know.
Yeah, and it is.
Got to have to reset again.
And I like that, and I know that this is going to be a love-hate with me because I can be an impatient gamer, but at the same time I'm methodical, so I think that I have some things that are going to work. But like I said, I've played maybe half an hour to an hour of it, just doing the tutorial, stuff like that. So give me another couple of hours and we'll see if I've made it past this one fucking thing that keeps destroying me as soon as I step off the cliff. So and work that out. But so far so good.
One last tip I'll give you before you go is buy a torch off of the guy
if I ever get to it,
because if you go into any caves or any dark areas without a torch, and I did this without getting a torch at first, you cannot see anything. You go and I went into a cave, and there was full of horrible creatures, and I couldn't see anything, and it was terrifying. And go and explore down the coastline along the beach, and you'll find some cool stuff. But it's just things like that. You'll I think you'll appreciate the world and how you explore it. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. One thing that I do have a question about is why the fuck do I need fingers to unlock doors? I don't understand.
Yeah, I know.
Is that just Elden Ring, or is that a thing that's been...
I think so, yeah, because apparently in every Souls game you always had a finger slot so you could get rings.
Oh, okay.
But in this game you don't. And apparently the reason is because rings in this world aren't just anything. That's not something you just equip on your body. I think it's a whole.
So now you have to find a
thing.
finger.
Yeah. So you have to find a finger. I said So it's very weird. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sure Vince is going to be surprised by the time I'm playing Elden Ring. But
oh my god, yeah, he's going to love that.
Yeah, but going back to something that we talked about a bit earlier, and this isn't a debate. I wanted us to try and work it out together a little bit. Obviously, we've got the Batman coming out on Friday, which we're both really excited for. And Marvel obviously is such the limelight with the top tier Marvel films, and you're looking at your end games. I think most of us would agree that either Infinity War or Endgame are the top one. And then your top fives, there's Civil War's usually in there, and there's a few of the regular ones. Probably Spider-Man will be in there now. Mm-hmm. But which of all the the DC movies, going back all the to Superman, the original Superman and stuff like that, how many of them do you think would make it into a universal top 10 of the Marvel films? How many DC films do you think deserve to be in that list of greats? Dark Knight obviously is going to be.
Yeah, I think it always comes down to Batman and Superman, doesn't it? Really, I mean, I was never into the Superman films as a kid, but I know that those films are iconic. If you'd asked the general public, especially people that are older than us, I think they would definitely put Superman in that list, because that was very much a.
How many of them were there? Was there 4?
I think they did 4 or 5, didn't you? Yeah, I can't remember how many. I'm sure there was a 5, but I think that was such a mess apparently of a film. It was I can't remember what happened with that, but or maybe that was 4. Whatever the last one was, it was bad. But yeah, surely the first one, I imagine that's got to be in there, and obviously Batman 89. Yeah. And for me, particularly Returns. I mean, I just love Batman Returns.
Batman Returns is fantastic.
Yeah. So those are the ones that definitely come to mind. Obviously, are we talking the Dark Knight trilogy, because that goes without saying?
You could, the Dark Knight trilogy are accepted, but you'd have to choose which films. Would you say all 3 of them deserve to be in there? Bear in mind, this is the top 10, so for every one of these DC films you're putting in, you're kicking out one of the Marvel films. Yeah. So are we talking this is my personal choice, or? I'd say we come to a consensus. I'm just interested in hearing what your choice is. If there's any differences, we can discuss them. But first of all, I guess the easiest thing to do is to work out the Marvel films, because we know the usual suspects in there. So we don't have to put them in order, but films that you think deserve.
Infinity War, Endgame, the ones that come to my mind: Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War, Winter Soldier. Yeah.
Would you put the Avengers in there, or?
I don't know.
Iron Man, or
see,
I would put Doctor Strange in there, or Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Spider-Man: No Way Home, absolutely. I may even I need to give that a second watch, because when I watched No Way Home, I was like, this is probably my favorite MCU film. Yeah. But then now after watching Infinity War again and Endgame, I'm remembering how good they are. But it's just but then they're very different kind of films, and I'm just I don't know. They're all up there though.
What about Ragnarok? Any of the Guardians films?
Guardians, it's tough. There's some good ones there, some real good ones there. So, and Iron Man, I love Iron Man.
So you've got
Avengers,
like
I probably wouldn't, but I probably wouldn't put the Avengers there. Like, I think Avengers hasn't. It's still good. It's still good fun, but it hasn't aged as well. It's not shot as well. Yeah.
Let me just write these down so we've got them just easily. So we've got Endgame, Infinity War, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Ragnarok, No Way Home. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What else did we say in that list? Iron Man, did you say, or not? Or...
Iron Man, yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 more out of the MCU. Black Widow. Don't think that's in the top 10.
No.
You've got the original Captain America.
I wouldn't put it in the top 10, although I do really like it.
You've got the Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, yeah. And I mean, the other Spider-Mans, Homecoming, I think it's...
I think Homecoming's better than Far From Home, but...
yeah,
Homecoming.
I mean, rewatching Homecoming, I was just like, God damn, this is a good film. It's a good film.
Any of the Ant-Man or...
Yeah, I mean, I really like Ant-Man. Whether it could make top 10.
What else have we had? Black Panther.
Yeah, really good.
Let's put in as our 10th one. That's obviously going to get kicked off the list anyway, so let's just put Black Panther in.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for every DC film we put in, we'll start them at the bottom and we'll work the way in. Mm-hmm. So, I'm guessing Dark Knight.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Knight for me, that's my number 1 anyway. So
yeah. What other DC? You're saying Batman the movie and Batman Returns.
Yeah, Batman 89, Batman Returns. I would definitely put in there. Batman Begins.
A lot of Batman.
A lot of Batman. I mean, I'm going to be biased towards Batman. Let's be honest. And Joker as well. I mean, I would put Joker in there.
Yeah, Batman Returns, Batman Begins, and Joker. I think you have to put. Do you think? I guess you have to put Superman 1 in.
I mean, I personally wouldn't put it in, but I know a lot of people would. But yeah.
See, for me, I enjoyed Superman, but I wouldn't say it should be on the list. And I know a lot of people didn't. I really enjoyed Man of Steel.
Yeah, I like Man of Steel
because I think it was a good Superman film. I think Henry Cavill's just so good as Superman.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it would get onto this list.
No, that's the.
And I don't think Justice League. I don't think Aquaman. I don't think what was the other one? Batman versus Superman.
No, there's nothing that come out. The only thing that would actually, the best thing that's come out of the DCEU, is probably Suicide Squad. The new Suicide Squad. But yeah, I mean that's.
I need to watch Peacemaker. Is it? Is it Peacemaker?
Yeah, I've not seen Peacemaker yet.
That's supposed to be really good.
What is it on? Because I know it's on HBO Max. Is it? But I don't know if it's on anything.
If it's HBO. Would it be Sky?
Maybe.
Maybe you usually get the HBO stuff.
Yeah,
I know they're doing another season. I've not seen it yet.
Have you seen? No, have you seen Suicide?
Yeah, I saw Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Did you like it?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's really funny, isn't it?
I think it was really. I think it was really, really good, and I think. Yeah.
I don't know how I'd rate it. How would if you had to rate it against the Guardians films?
Because they are very similar.
They're very similar. Would you say they're as good, better? I don't know. It's.
I think it's better in the sense of when it has the chance to go rated R.
Yeah, it really goes there.
It really goes there, and that is a lot of fun, especially when he's on about dicks eating dicks.
Yeah.
like so. I just really enjoyed seeing John Cena do those bits. And
that scene where they infiltrate the camp.
Yeah.
It's just one of the best setups.
I'd eat dicks all the time. I'd eat dicks for America because I'm patriotic. You give me a dick, I'm gonna eat it. And the fact that
when they're both like showing off like killing them all, and then like they get there and they realize that it's actually like the Allies. It's just there's so many good moments like that.
So good. And
the polka dot man. Like, there's so many Weasel. There's so many great characters in that film.
Yeah, it's a really interesting film, and how they did it was really good. Much better than the other Suicide Squad. But
oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's on a par with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But I don't think it's as good as Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that was
Yeah, there wasn't any like the characters, and I guess that's the point, but none of them were like, there wasn't any characters that were as likable. That I was just like, I didn't really feel like.
No, yeah. It was just, there was just a lot of funny characters. And I think John Cena as Peacemaker was probably the best of that bunch, with the humor that he had. Like
King Shark is great as well.
King Shark was funny. Yeah. That was really interesting. But so Suicide Squad, I think, probably makes the list, but it might not make the top 10. But we'll So Dark Knight, Batman 89, Batman Returns, Batman Begins, Joker, and just to spice it up, Suicide Squad. So we've got one non-Batman entity technically.
Yeah.
I want to interested in that game. I don't know how that game is going to be, the Suicide Squad game. I keep forgetting that it's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if I'm gonna like that game. If it's like,
I love the idea of it. Like, I mean, the idea of
hunting
taking down the Justice League is a really cool idea. So I'm interested to see, because we've only really seen the Flash stuff, haven't we?
That's all we've seen.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to playing that.
Yeah.
But okay.
This is the thing. It's like I'm more of a fan of Marvel and the Marvel universe overall.
Yeah.
But Batman just trumps everything for me. It's just this it's this one character from DC, which is just like, I just love Gotham. I love all the villains. I just like that world. That's just like, if you said to me I had to choose one or the other, but you lose everything, I'd have to go with Batman and lose, like, just to keep Batman, because that's just
Slight side note: if an unthinkable deal was created where Marvel and DC could do a film together, and they decided they were going to do a buddy cop film, who would you want to see Batman team up with? Would it be Iron Man, because of the both billionaires, both have the money, but both doing very different ways? Or is there someone else you'd like to see Batman like team up with from the Marvel? I mean,
Daredevil would be cool, because I always feel like Batman's like a mixture of like Iron Man and Daredevil, isn't he? He's like, he's like the billionaire, like playboy, like has all the money that Iron Man has, but the hero side of him is more like, I guess the character is more similar to like Daredevil, like the more like in the way that, they're both, the whole point of them is like they're trying to strike fear into like their
do you think it would be two one up in each other, and who can do the most fear? Like,
that would be cool.
But Batman would just give him some tech to help with his sonar, he'd like, amplify it. Like, that's all Batman would do. No, I think Daredevil's quite a good shout.
Who else? I don't know, really. It's a good question.
I guess, I don't know. It is a difficult one. Captain America would have been interesting, because he's all light and bright, and then you've got like
that's a good contrast. Because which is I guess similar to like Batman and Superman, isn't it? Because Superman very much is that Captain America of that world that obviously representing the colors and like the
and Batman
believing in like truth and yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I've always liked their dynamic as well in the comics, like Batman and Superman, how they have like the same like ideology, but they have different ways of going about it, and that they're the way they always butt heads about that, So that's a good question.
There's a few good ones. Oh, what's she called? Is it Yelena Maximoff? I can't remember. Is that her name? Black Widow's sister.
Oh yeah.
Just for the comedy effect, if it was played, obviously by Florence Pugh, just to see, cool. Like just annoying Batman for the whole film. Speaking of, did you see the Moon Knight poster that was released?
No.
Oh, it's such a good the costume is unreal.
Oh man,
like
I got this month's Empire magazine, and I was reading through the whole interview with Oscar Isaac and all them, and it's just it sounds really good.
Yeah, because I don't know much about Moon Knight. I admit, I don't know much about Moon Knight.
But I always, whenever I saw him, loved the design of his costume, and he is probably the closest visually to any character in the MCU in Marvel to Batman.
I guess. Yeah.
And they were talking about this actually in some versions of that character in the comics, it was almost like they
were just trying to give their Batman. Yeah.
It was almost copyrighted, like because like they he has like these different like personas.
Yeah.
He has in one of the comics he was literally like a billionaire. And he's like in the day he was like Bruce Wayne, and there was like, and when they were kind of deciding like what kind of things to do in the show, like we're just not even like going to do that because that is literally just like Batman. It's like we're not going to even try and attempt like what Batman's been doing. He's been doing that for like 80 plus years. Like we'll just leave that. We'll do these different versions of Moon Knight. Yeah.
Oh God. Like I'm looking forward to that film. The one I'm not looking forward to on the DC side, because I'm worried about it, is Black Adams, purely because that film has been in development for a long time, and every time we see a trailer, it is just a still with The Rock talking over it a little bit. No film whatsoever.
I know.
And The Rock has already come out and said he wasn't happy with the film and made him go back and edit it. So that film worries me.
I've still not seen Shazam, and I don't know why. I've just not. It looks right. I've just not really got much interest in that character, but.
Shazam's actually a good film to watch.
I need to watch it, but
the second one's coming, I think.
Yeah, so. But I'll see what it's like, Black Adam. But I'm not exactly like holding my breath for it. I'm not really. The DC thing's a weird one, really. I just at one point I'm like, it's like, and the rumors are like with the Flash film. This is going to be their like kind of excuse to kind of reset things and that I am really excited about, obviously for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Good old MK.
Yeah, but other than that, it's like, I kind of want them to just kind of do. I don't want the whole like MCU. I don't think you can compete with what MCU is doing. They're doing that whole shared universe thing. And that's great. I think.
The standalone DC films are great.
Yeah, exactly. Do
like Joker, the Batman, which I know is going to become a trilogy, but
just do that. That stuff works better just standing alone. Let each thing do its own thing. Let each director just do their own project and have a beginning and end to it, and just leave it at that. Some of the best graphic novels are, So I think even in the comics world, comics just can get so messy because everyone's trying to tie each other in. And there's no stakes because you can't really kill anyone off because it's like a long running thing. But when you get those stories where it's just like, no, here's my take on this character, like the Killing Joke or, whatever. And it's just like, oh shit, those are the things that last.
Yeah. Did you see William Dafoe, came out and said he had a great idea for the Joker in the sense of if Joaquin Phoenix did another Joker film, he wanted to be an imposter who idolized the Joker.
Everyone, and he was like always the ideal casting. Like you can always imagine him because he looked so similar to that classic Joker.
I think one day we'll get an iteration.
He'd be so good. He'd be so good
because he wants to do it.
Does he really want to do it? How has that not happened then? You know what I mean? How has that someone not tapped up.
Is it because it's too on the nose?
I don't know. I mean,
because he could definitely do the acting. He's fucking batshit crazy.
Yeah.
But, no, I'd be really interested in that. And I think you're right. Do you think that what other villain in the DC deserves to have a Joker treatment? And maybe not, obviously not the same style, but their own standalone movie that isn't about the hero, is purely about them. Like, because I've always loved the Riddler.
Yeah.
Always loved the Riddler, but it's hard to
straight to the Batman.
Yeah.
Because Batman just has like the best rogues gallery in all comics, I think.
100%. And then there's some weird ones in there, like Mad Hatter, but there's
yeah. But there's so many good ones. I mean,
Penguin's obviously, like, it depends. If you're taking the Cobblepot Penguin, that's always really interesting. But if you're taking the Danny DeVito Penguin, then that's which is.
But Riddler's a good one, and which is again why I'm so
heavily featured, obviously, in the Batman.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting to see that take.
Catwoman's been done too many times in their own films, I guess, like in their own iterations. Poison Ivy, like, was always a great. I think that's a very hard film now to do. Like when they, because you can't do that in realism.
No.
Whereas Bane, you could, I guess, but I think Tom Hardy's Bane was as realistic as you're going to make a Bane.
Yeah.
Like,
Bane was done quite well, I think.
I really liked Nolan's version of Bane. I didn't want to see the lucha mask Bane.
No.
I think.
Shit, that's a good question. I'm trying to think. I don't know, really. Don't know.
I think. What's he called? Is it Tsar? Victor Tsar.
Victor Tsar, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Zaz.
Zaz. Or the psychiatrist. What's he called? Not Scarecrow. The other one.
No.
Hugo. What's his name? Is it Dr. How's it? Batman. I know. I'm trying to. It's like.
Yeah, not sure.
Character. Is he a psychiatrist? I feel like he is. No, because they keep telling me that's Scarecrow, and that's not who I'm on about. Was he not a psychiatrist? Was he a scientist?
Hugo.
I don't know if Hugo's even named.
You just made that one up, haven't you, Hugo?
How's it? Batman. Hugo. Oh no, he is a character. Who is he? Who is he? Hugo Strange. Is he just a...
Hugo Strange, yeah.
Who is he? Because I know Hugo Strange in Gotham is in charge of Arkham Asylum, isn't he?
Yeah, Hugo Strange.
Yeah, because his alter ego is Professor Hugo Strange or Dr. Hugo Strange. Like, he's really good. Yeah, he tests on people and stuff like that. He was no. He was in Batman. Oh, hang on a sec. He was in Batman number 1.
Was he really?
Yeah, Batman number 1 in spring 1940. He was Batman's first supervillain.
Wow.
Yeah, Detective Comics number 36. He was one of Batman's first recurring villains and is also the first Batman villain to discover the hero's secret identity.
There you go.
Yeah, but anyway, we've got a bit off track from what we're doing. What we're saying is DC movies deserve. There's some DC movies that do deserve to be.
I think like we said, like
if it's got Batman in it,
Batman. It's just one of the things. Batman is like it attracts the best. Everyone loves Batman, so it's like it attracts the best directors, the best writers, and the same with the comics as well. You know, you always get the best like best comic writers end up going over there, the best artists. So I think naturally that stuff always rises to the top, which is great. And then now we've got another one. What it looks like, it's going to enter that pantheon of great movies. So
is there
continue?
Last question, and then we'll call it a night. Is there a director that you would love to see tackle? Maybe not a Batman movie necessarily, but a superhero film in general. Is there something that you like to see? Because obviously the obvious choice for me would be someone like Villeneuve for the aesthetic side of it, like, and the scale, would be really interesting. And you could see that with something in more grittier, like. But is there anyone that you'd like to see get a? Because you're not going to see Scorsese do a superhero film, sadly.
No, but I mean,
Tarantino would be interesting.
Joker, I mean, was like, it may as well
heavily
be Scorsese.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Tom Phillips, literally. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people kind of criticize it for that, in that it's literally kind of a remake of Taxi Driver, but it's like you cannot get as close to Scorsese's kind of style, particularly like his 70s like style than that film, which is great. And did he produce it in the end? Because he was meant to be producing it originally when it was being done, but it's like that film is a love letter to Scorsese.
Yeah.
But Villeneuve is a good shout, because he really could make you kind of, and again, like, it's hard to like not immediately think of something like Gotham and to, but yeah, it's
with his color palette though, it would look fantastic in Gotham, and
it would, yeah. But I'm trying to think of maybe see the film that I am waiting for. I mean, like, we're living in the golden age right now, right? Of comic book films.
We're getting everything we want.
We're getting good. For God's sake, we're getting the Moon Knight series. You know what I mean? It's like anything's on the table. Like, for me, I'm still personally waiting for Spawn to be redone, because Spawn is one of my favorite comic book characters ever.
Yeah,
it's one of the few characters that has that kind of pop culture that's not part of Marvel or DC. Mm-hmm. And there is, like, I know Todd McFarlane's had I know apparently he's had a script written and he's been trying to get it made for years, and apparently there were is it Blumhouse have actually, like, they're going to be producing it, but for whatever reason, I don't know why it just keeps sitting on on top of this pile to be done. But that would be an interesting one, and that is
because when was the actual film? Was it like 97 or something?
Yeah, something like that. It was, the film was terrible, absolutely god awful. But the series, and I don't know if you've ever watched the HBO animated show. That is like, I mean, that is my like first kind of attachment to HBO. That's the first thing I ever watched that was HBO. I was like watching that, like, oh my god, like I was at school when I used to watch that, and that is like a hard 18. It's like a proper. So in a way, it was actually better than the comic, because it was like more kind of grounded, and as much as you can make grounded series about a demon of hell, but it was like it was really good. It was really well made. It had 3 series of it, and it was great. And if we could get a film that was similar to that tone, it'd be great. It'd be so good, because you've got some really good characters in there. Like, and again, it's very similar to kind of Batman. Like you got the characters of Sam and Twitch, like, as the detectives, and kind of got that gritty New York City, like, in that time, and that could be something that could be really well adapted. I mean, the film, they completely missed the mark. Yeah. They tried to make it like a all-out action movie kind of thing, and that's just not what Spawn is. But you can really, especially with, like, I think MCU has taken what comic books, like, you would never dreamt like 20 years ago we could get a film like Endgame, which, like, and have a villain like Thanos and deal with those kind of themes and stuff. And it makes you think like what they could do with a Spawn film these days. It's
the last information on it was on the 15th of December 2021, so December, and McFarlane said, everybody on the team is pushing. We've just picked up another big name, which is a big milestone. We'll make some kind of announcement in the first half of next year. Everybody is literally laser focused on this, and the announcement will basically be, we found our studio, we've got the funding, and we have a date to go into production. The rumours at the moment are that Jamie Foxx will play Spawn.
Yes,
and
so
Jeremy Renner portraying Twitch.
I didn't know that, but you just completely reminded me. I remember Jamie Foxx making this announcement that he was going to play it, and he was sitting with Todd McFarlane. But but even then, it all seems kind of like hypothetical. It's like, yeah, if it happens, I'll play him, kind of thing. It's nothing that's like really. I mean, I've been watching this like, I feel like forever, like waiting to like see what's happening. And I feel like Todd McFarlane's been saying this like for about 15 years, like saying like, oh yeah, it's happening. It's like, okay. Because I mean, I collected the Spawn comics for years, and I just I mean, that's the one I want to see
one day.
But yeah, it's interesting to think that if I could choose any director, don't know who I'd get for it really.
Yeah, for Spawn especially. I would, like I said, I would like to see Tarantino just like not use one of his films, just like, step aside, just do a project. I don't even know. It would have to be a gang of people. So you can imagine him doing like a Suicide Squad film or something like that with a quick wit. But yeah, like just for Tarantino's directorial style, and the soundtrack would be incredible. But it's never going to happen.
Never,
obviously. But just while I'm total sidetrack back to Elden Ring, on the website where I'm looking at for the Todd McFarlane stuff, it has the article, it has adverts everywhere for Elden Ring, and they always have the quotes from the press and stuff like that. The only one they have says it looks incredible. Which outlet or company or person or whatever do you think they have quoted that from?
Don't know.
George R.R. Martin.
Oh yeah.
Like he hasn't got a horse in the race. Like
his own game he's worked on. Yeah. Can they even use that? Is that even legal?
Oh, but that's the other that's on this one.
Like, do you know what I love about George R. R. Martin? He
doesn't give a shit.
I saw that. I think it was
the picture of him with the hat on. Did you see that?
Yeah. But I think it was Timur Hussein retweeted his blog because he mentions like GameSpot's review or whatever. And I love that George R. R. Martin, like he posted it. His blog is literally like a website ripped straight out of like 1997.
Oh yeah.
It is literally just like, it's like one of those websites which I didn't even think existed on the internet anymore, where the text like on a sentence actually goes over the border of the edge of the page because it's not formatted to go on. It's just like, God bless you, George R. R. Martin. Like, just do what you do. And
it's like something from Emily is Away.
Yeah, that's it. It is. It's like, my God, it's like, wow.
Never change.
If you want to step back into like what the internet was like in the 90s, just go on George R. R. Martin's blog and just enjoy it. Takes you back.
Well, the memories. Anyway, let's end it there for tonight. Like, Terry, thank you for sitting here and guiding me through the beginning of Elden Ring.
God, it's blind leading the blind.
Blind leading the blind. Yeah, we haven't got the bearded one with us today.
Yeah. The bearded one's probably completed it already.
Probably. Well, he's been sick. He's not actually sick. He's just just playing Elden Ring. But he will be back obviously next week to talk about Elden Ring. But you'll be able to catch us on stream potentially Thursday, definitely on Sunday, which will be me and Vince streaming for you guys. But Terry, thank you for being here today.
It's good to be back. It's good to talk games and films and all the good stuff.
And you only coughed about 100 times.
Oh, I know. Still there. It's just good to have a little bit of escapism in this world right now, and it's God bless games and everything else that we have.
That's what we need right now. But thank you for being here, and thank you for getting me even more excited for the Batman. I hope you have a great time on Friday. I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
Can't wait to talk about it next week.
I'm going to try and watch it. Maybe. Do you know what? Casey's away on Sunday.
Sunday is.
Maybe I'll go to the cinema Sunday.
And
just watch it then. And then watch it again with her.
Yeah. I imagine I'm going to see this at least 2 or 3 times at cinema.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be one of those kind of things.
But anyway, you can head over to YouTube if you're not watching this there, and that is at Shifty Crab, and you'll be able to see us over there, see what we do, go back, look at some of our old shows, or catch up on some of our VODs from the streams that we do each week. Or you can head over to Twitter at CrabShifty and find out what we're talking about over there. And then, and we'll see you here next time over on Twitch or YouTube or wherever you're watching us. But until then, have a nice week and stay shifty.